Hey, yeah, what's up? This Disciple Marshall Occurrence Rain back up in this anti-Illuminati dog all day, anti-America all day, anti-Freemason all day, anti-gang stalker all day, anti-Satan all day. Yeah. So this video is going to be basically about fasting against Satan. Fasting against Satan. Now, this ain't for the novice. This is not for the novice. This is from coming from a person that's spiritually seasoned. This is not for the novice. This is for those who you want to be effective, you want to go to war, and you want results, and you want the enemy defeated. Simple as that. And many, Americans don't really care about defeating any enemies, do they? They don't have any enemies to defeat, do they? All this war around, they don't got no enemies to defeat, right? um, there are always going to be enemies, buddy. And the greatest one of them all is Satan. If we as Christians had no war with the Americans, we would have war with Satan regardless. So what I am going to be talking about is my testimony of my 3-year long fast against Satan. Okay, um, it's coming on 4 years now. Yeah, it's coming on 4 years. Okay, and I've been fasting not against demons, not against the satanic kingdom, not against evil energy. I've been fasting literally against the entity Satan. Okay. Okay, so this is where we leave a lot of people behind. Okay. Look, man. You don't think God will honor you fasting against Satan? Even if you did a total fast or took some time this year to fast against Satan himself, you don't think God will honor that? You got to stop letting American Christians box in your Christianity. Again, you got to stop letting American Christians box in your Christianity. That's what they're doing. They got you feeling like you can't do nothing. They don't let you fight, and you have no way to fight what you're supposed to fight. How are you supposed to fight Satan? You target him just like he's targeting you. Yeah, ain't nobody playing no games. Yeah, that part. Ow. Ow. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm fasting against Satan himself. I started this fast October 15th, 2019. Now, why I say it's not for the novice of people out here with zeal and I'm not picking on the young Christians, but you might be young and you're on fire for God and you think you're gonna just be a demon slayer, and you're gonna just do this fast. Listen, you can't be playing with it. If you got to be all, that's one thing I would advise you. If you do this, you can't be slipping. You know what I mean? You can't be slipping. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be watching you, and you can't be slipping. Okay? You're talking about attacking our greatest enemy, and that's what I already been doing. You know, so I'm gonna share my testimony. I think what's only rightful for this situation is someone who actually has done it, someone that actually is doing it. Just listen by faith. Just listen with an open mind. You know what I'm saying? Don't fasting is biblical. That's all you need to know, right? That you do know, right? Okay, okay. So fasting against Satan, in my opinion, will do a lot tremendously in your, first of all, in your own life and in the life, the lives around you and the world around you. You just have not had the faith to think this way. Wasn't Jesus surprised by the faith of many people who did abnormal acts of faith? Wasn't he all the time? He said he never seen such great faith. It's time for you to be one of those people. Go look up all the people that Jesus was surprised that marveled at their faith. Their faith wasn't like everybody else's. It's time for you to become one of those people. I'm already doing something that I know your country's not doing. I know these people are not doing. I know they're not doing it. So you got somebody out here fasting against Satan. And I'm not being prideful. I'm just separating myself from people that I know are not doing what I'm doing. Okay? My personal testimony is I started this fast in Wesley Chapel, Florida. In Wesley Chapel, Florida, in this huge plaza where there's a Burger King, there's like some type of Ace hardware store, but there's definitely a Burger King in the parking lot and a Waffle House in the parking lot in Wesley Chapel, and so when I was homeless there on the streets, being gang stalked, right? While asleep on the streets one night, I started a fast against Satan, the entity Satan himself. Not his energy, not his power, not his demons, not his kingdom, not witches and warlocks and evil people and killers and monsters of all different types of humanity. No. I fasted against Satan. I'm fasting against Satan himself. Okay? And this is what my enemies don't know, and this is what's making it hard for them. You think God gonna play with you when I'm fighting against Satan? You gonna listen, bro. I'm not the person to be tough with. I'm not that guy, man. I'm not that guy, bro. There's people that love it. Like I always say, there's people that love it. They like that, if it's the thug life and gangster life, there's plenty of people out there that love to go back and forth with their rivals and make videos and put them up on, on YouTube and everything like that, Instagram. There's people that love it. You know what I'm saying? For gang stalkers, there's people that love to talk about what you doing to them 24/7. They like to make a big old, paranoid, and no disrespect, they like to make this big old campaign about all these things you're doing and all of that. There's people that love it, bro. That's what I'm trying to show you. And it's people that love to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's people that's hyped up on it. You know what I'm saying? They want to go charge the gang stalkers and everything like that, But I'm not one of those people, man. I'm fasting against Satan himself. Playing with me, knowing that God knows that is fatal, bro. It's like a hot sword. It's like a hot sword. It's like a hot samurai sword, a red hot samurai sword through butter, through a cake of butter, buddy. It's like a red hot samurai sword through through a cold cake of butter. That's why it's happening to you, man. That's why it's happening to you. So back to my testimony, and I'm going to go to it all the way to the end. For all those who are listening or are interested in this fast for Satan, I want you to be interested, but I want you to be serious. I am guiding you spiritually concerning it, and my testimony is going to be a guide as well. Okay, so like I said, I started my fast October 15th, 2019 in Wesley Chapel, Florida. Okay? Now, I went on the fast one night sleeping in a parking lot. I started a fast sleeping in the back of the, the parking lot of a plaza, sleeping literally with covers in a place where cars park in a parking lot. So while I was sleeping there, I was kind of near the back door of the plaza, the back doors of the plaza, but the cars where the cars parked was like 10 feet away from where I was at. So I would be basically in front of where the cars parked. So in the morning, they would see me in front of them, in front of the door that's behind the back doors of the plaza. So I decided to go on this fast, October 15th, 2019, in Wesley Chapel. And then it started. So, like usual, I was being gang stalked and everything. But one thing I will note, during that time, people were seething. This white woman was just, I might have done something unreasonable. At the time, I may have done something unreasonable outside the store, but her anger was just, I don't know, abnormal, But anyway it goes, either way it goes, she was just abnormally weird in anger. Okay. But so I went on the fast and I was there for a couple of days after that. So during my spiritual warfare, during this time after the fast, everything just kind of escalated. As far as the gang stalking, everything, the satanic forces escalated. So I left Wesley Chapel and I just started walking on the highway. Walking on the highway, literally walking on the highway. Yeah, this is the path of a real spiritual warrior in America. I was walking literally on the highway, and this guy that must have been either Puerto Rican or Mexican was with a black guy, and they pulled over on the highway in front of me. So as I was walking by, I just asked a question, and they helped me. And so I got in the back of the truck, and they had a whole bunch of frozen peanuts. So they give me a ride. I'm literally, remind you, I'm on the highway, literally. They give me a ride. It's maybe like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that. They give me a ride. I am laying on frozen peanuts, covered up so I can't be seen. So I'm taken to Gainesville, Florida. This is right before COVID. I'm taken to Gainesville, Florida from Wesley Chapel, Florida. So now I'm in Gainesville. I get let off at a Wendy's restaurant. And I think he helped me out with some food. And that was it. So now I'm homeless on the streets of another town. I've left Wesley Chapels. Now I'm fasting against Satan. Maybe 2 or 3 days in, I'm getting food from the local places. They're helping me out. All the pizza places and things like that, they're helping me out. I'm panhandling, best to get money and things like that. So one night on the streets, I told God I'm going to stop drinking, right? It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. So I told God I know it would be hard to stop drinking. Okay, so the next day comes. I get Burger King. I get like some little hash brown things and some little food from Burger King. So I started my campaign of trying to get a phone, and because I'm homeless on the streets, I'm trying to. That's one thing on the streets. All homeless people should have phones. It's gold. You can be in any nook and cranny and have a phone, and it will light up your soul because you could get Christian radio, you can get Christian videos, you can you can think, you can have ways to think through the phones. So I recommend anyone that's on the streets to get a phone. Well, even if you got a panhandle for it, even if you got to ask people for it, don't worry about what the cops are saying, because at the end of the day, they're not going to provide your no sanity for you. They're not going to provide any sanity, and they're not going to provide anything for you. Okay, now there are some good cops that will go buy a phone for you straight off, just they're out of their own money. But you don't know what they are, do you? Okay, so I started to panhandle that day. I ate again. I ate like a McDouble from McDonald's, and then I think a small fry too, and that was it. That's all I ate for the day. So this white guy hands me in Gainesville, Florida, with a cowboy hat. He hands me all the money I need to go to Target and get this phone. So I get $50 from this guy. Boom. The standard Obama-like phone that's at Target is like $30, a little over $30, right? Mid $30, make no more than 36, $7. That's what you should do when you're on the streets. Don't try to go get a plan. Go get an Obama phone, what we call Obama phones, which is another way for saying a government phone, right? Right? Because I think he was handing out. I think Obama was giving out free phones at that time. That's why they call them Obama phones, because when he was in office, the government was giving out free phones. Okay, so um, you go get an Obama phone, a government phone, a basic phone from Target that's like $37. That's what you do on the streets. Don't try to go get no plan and maintain the plan and all that. You can do that if you feel like you got it. You're in a spot where you can get the money like that, but I don't recommend that. I recommend just getting a phone first and do that later. You know what I mean? Because you got to pay for the phone and all of that. And being on the streets, you know that some days you don't see any money. You're lucky if you see any money. Now, if you're in a spot where people take care of you, geographics are always different. If you're in a place where you can afford to, you got people around you that's looking out that will help you with a phone plan, then go for it. I mean, if you can do it and you got the connects, you got people that'll help you, then go for it. But basically, if you're homeless, you should try to just go to get a government phone, and that's like 37, $38, and and connect to Wi-Fi. Go connect to Wi-Fi when people are not in businesses, when the businesses shut down. Go get Wi-Fi here and there. Go look for Wi-Fi in the area where you sleep at. Okay, so I got the phone. Boom. So I think it's a Friday night. I think so. And I'm excited. I got this phone. So my flesh got the best of me. I wanted to go I got headphones, and I got a phone and basic Sony headphones from Target. You know the basic ones that's like a little over $20. I got that and the phone. Okay. So I had a little bit of money left over. Remind you, I'm homeless. I had a little bit of money left over. I'm on this fast against Satan, right? This is real, true stories. on the streets, fasting against Satan. Started my fast on the streets, homeless. All right. Okay. So the flesh gets the best of me. I want to go get a fifth of vodka. So I'm like, remind you, I asked God to help me. I don't want to drink anymore, and it will be hard. That's what I told God. So I fell and decided to get a fifth of vodka. So I go to the store to get it. I get it, and it's like after 11 o'clock now at night. Okay, so I'm drinking it, listening to my headphones, and I'm listening to secular music, and I'm listening to Bone Thugs song "Whom Die They Lie." That song "Whom Die They Lie." It's called "Whom Die They Lie." So I'm totally in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Um, but so I'm loving the music. I'm listening to the music. I'm back to where basically the vicinity where I asked people to help me to get the phone, the Target department store in Gainesville, Florida. So in Gainesville, Florida, there's this strip where there's a Best Buy and a Target, right? I got the money for it in front of the Best Buy. What I would do is I would spend hours going back and forth between the two. The Best Buy, I would ask people to help me out with a phone there, and I would go back to the Target. So once I got the fifth of vodka, I went back in that vicinity, and I was in front of the Target, and I was drinking. I remember exactly how it happened. I just passed out. I blacked out, excuse me. I didn't fall. I blacked out standing up. I remember how it happened. Everything just it faded to black, literally. It just all went to black. I was standing up. I remember it. I wasn't sleepy. I was well awake. I wasn't tired or any of that. I just blacked out from the vodka. And it was only a fifth. But I think what happened was that I had drink the vodka on an empty stomach. That's what it was. I drank the vodka on an basically empty stomach. Remember, I had the McDouble. I had some hash browns from Burger King, and but apparently that wasn't enough. I started drinking the vodka, and I think because I hadn't had any in a while, I think I was drinking on my level, and drinkers know what I'm talking about. I was drinking on my level, and I just thought that's one of the biggest deceptions. If your tolerance is down and you haven't been drinking and you haven't been eating, then if you start guzzling and you just kind of don't, you think you're good like you usually are, you could get alcohol poisoned easily. And that's what happened to me. Like I blacked out standing up. Everything faded to black. It just totally went black. Remind you, I am on this fast for Satan. Against Satan, not for Satan, excuse me. I am on a fast against Satan, the entity, right? Him specifically. So I black out. I remember everything going black, just like it all going dark, like literally my eyes, like everything going dark. And it just all faded. It literally faded to black. I remember because I was looking down at my phone and it just all went to black. I wake up 16 hours later in the hospital. They told me that a good Samaritan found me in the rain. And obviously they called the police, the ambulance, 911. And I was taken to the main Gainesville, Florida hospital. I woke up 16 hours later, and they were upset with me. They were upset with me. They were angry with me, and I mean, they just seemed like looking at me like you could have died. So in my paperwork, you know how you get paperwork after you go to the hospital. The paperwork said, "I know we know that you've had bouts with alcohol before in the past, but this one nearly took your life." So I almost died. I was in the ICU on a breath ventilator. So I was on this ventilator, and to keep me breathing, I had stopped breathing. And what I was told by the hospital officials is that if someone hadn't called the police, then I would have died from hypothermia. So I wouldn't even have died from alcohol, or maybe it was the alcohol that made me, because the alcohol does make you cold. It works like that, alcohol and caffeine. So between, I guess, the combination of the alcohol, because it was October in Florida. It's not. That's not. It's but so cold. But it's the rain. It's a combination of the rain and the alcohol. That's what it was. And they told me I would have died of hypothermia. I wouldn't have even made it to the hospital to be treated for um alcohol poisoning. So that's my testimony. After that was my I went on the fast October 15th, 2019. 6 days later, that was not even a week later, I was in the hospital fighting for my life. Now, people will say, oh, well, that was because you were drinking. No, you got to read between the lines. You have to read between the lines. I had just went on a fast against Satan. Me, I have been, in my life, I've been a hardcore drinker, not an alcoholic, a hardcore drinker. There are hardcore drinkers, and there are alcoholics. There are some people in America doesn't really know the difference. There are some people that are hardcore drinkers. They can drink you under the table, and they do not struggle with having alcohol every single day. I didn't have to have alcohol every day. I didn't have to have anything every day except cigarettes, like tobacco. Like that's something that obviously in this a person has every day, and it's not so much that you're so addicted. It's something that you enjoy. You want a cigarette every day. So but but me knowing that the hardcore drinker that I am, and I did have some food on my stomach, I just think even just me drinking after I told God I didn't want to drink and it would be hard. I think this was just all the satanic kingdom watching me being probably one of the only people on the earth that's fasting against Satan. Like, I just think that I was put, the satanic kingdom was put on high alert about me. And as soon as they tempted me, and as soon as they found me doing something of their kingdom in the way that their kingdom does it, they took full advantage of that, and I almost died. When the police say, I mean, when the ambulance, when the hospital say you almost died, you almost died. I almost died. So I am not one of those people that is foreign to death. I've been close to death before. You know, but I think that it wasn't because of the alcohol. I personally think it was because I went on this fast for Satan. Because look at the time frame. I went on the fast, right? October 15th. October 19th, the morning of October 19th, was when I was omitted to the hospital. So 4 days later, and I spent 3 days in the hospital up until the 21st. 4 days later, it was the 19th, the morning of, like early, like 1ish in the morning. That's when I was omitted into the hospital. Remind you, I started drinking alcohol at 11. So I was roughly in that situation about an hour and a half or something like that. About close to 2 hours. And I was omitted to the hospital. So 4 days later, you go on a fast and 4 days later, you're fighting for your life in the ICU. That's how I need to tell you. You think that's a coincidence? Either way it goes, whatever the case may be, or what I did and didn't do. Let's read between the lines. Let us not be naive. I go on a fast for against Satan. 4 days later, not even a week later, I am fighting in the ICU for my life. They say I was non-responsive. They didn't know what they could do. I think they almost gave up. They say I was non-responsive. I was cold. They say I was cold when I first came in. They didn't know what to do. And when you're in a place like that, nobody can help you. Who can help you? Only God. And I think that God had mercy on me, because when I did pray, I asked God, I said, I want to quit drinking, but I know it's going to be hard. I think that's why God had mercy, because I admitted that it would be a challenge. You know, I wasn't just saying God help me in some cliche way. I was being honest with God that I knew it would be hard for me to quit, right? And I think that's why he had mercy on me. Yep. And so I'm now on this fast against Satan 3 years later, and I'm winning, but what it has done is it's brought the satanic kingdom against me and everything like that. But I'm getting victory that you cannot imagine now, because now I'm locked in, okay? And now he can't hit me hard, because now God is adding anointing as I have been fighting the satanic kingdom. As I've been fighting Satan, right? God has anointed me accordingly. So now I am anointed, and Satan can't. In other words, God has empowered me as I have been fighting the kingdom of Satan. He's empowered me now. And that's why I'm a very dangerous person to play with. You have someone that's fighting Satan one-on-one per se. Not obviously God is helping me, or otherwise I would be defeated or be consumed. But God has empowered me to fight Satan. And so that's what my enemies don't know. That's what separates me from a lot of Christians. Okay. But now the time has come, I believe, to tell you that you can do this as well. But beware. See my testimony? Satan hit me in the gut when I started fasting against him. Boom. Hit me right in the stomach. And I almost died. I almost didn't make it. But I did. So when you fast against Satan, be aware of tremendous satanic spiritual warfare. Okay? Be aware that that's going to happen. That's going to come with it. You may lose loved ones. You may lose a spouse. You may lose a job. Okay? But I don't want you to be scared of doing this because of that. I want you to realize this is your enemy. And if you're going to be the spiritual warrior that you need to be, then this is exactly what you need to do. This is for you. This is your dedication to God, to fight our enemy, to show God that you're willing to fight our enemy, his enemy. And this is ultimately your enemy that's causing all these problems. He's the main one, buddy. He's the top of the list. He's the number one enemy. Okay? And that doesn't change. And I know how bad your enemies are. I know how bad the gang stalkers are. I know how bad these Americans are, but they are not your your first enemy. They are not your number one enemy. Your number one enemy is Satan. So why not fast against him? And not in the arrogant way to say, look what I'm doing. I'm fighting against Satan, because it ain't a game. Like I told you, I got punched in the gut. Boom. Almost died. 4 days later after this fast. I'm not saying look for death. I'm not saying you're going to die. But be on your P's and Q's. You know what I'm saying? Be on your P's and Q's, because, you know, it's you're fighting the highest ranking enemy. You're fighting Satan. Not these little bozos that want to be something in their own right, self-proclaimed this or that or the third. No. I'm talking about you're fighting against Satan, right? That's what you're fighting against. Okay, so that being said, as you're fighting against Satan, you have to realize that you're going to rise up in rank, you're going to rise up in power, and you're going to rise, and attacks are going to rise. But it's a balance. When you fight against Satan himself, you're going to get victory, and you're going to experience a life that is victorious over all of this. But you have to go to full length. You can't play with it. You know, you gotta get your walk with God good. You can't be slipping and playing with people, because when you fight against Satan himself, he's whoever he can use or whatever he can use, he's gonna use it to destroy you. See, he didn't have a chance to do that with me because I was homeless. So I was isolated from people. It was kind of the perfect time to start a fast against Satan, because I didn't have anyone in my life that could aggravate me and bother me or cause me any problems. And I didn't have any attachments to anybody either. I didn't have any attachments because I was by myself on the streets. So that being said, this is where I'm at in my walk. Okay, and so I'm going to get into what the fast is. I know it's time to. That's the question. Okay, the fast is a lifelong fast. Okay, it's a lifelong fast that is my style of fasting. Besides just fasting against Satan, I'm fasting also against many other individuals and in different countries and everything. I'm fasting even against different countries. I mean, we're almost in World War III. So I've already started fasting against certain countries, other countries. Okay. What I recommend you do is pick an item that is a sacrifice for you. It is something that you do like to eat. I'm not asking you to pick your favorite food. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to pick something that you definitely do like to eat, but that is not your favorite food. Okay? Something that is definitely something you like to eat, but that is not your favorite food. Okay? So you can pick a nut, cashews, pistachios, peanuts, peanut products. You could pick a fruit, a type of fruit, grapes, peaches, apples, strawberries, pears, cherries. But you have to eat these things. Bananas. You could pick a meat. You could pick, certain different types of meat, a type of fish. You don't have to fast all fish. You could pick a type of fish to fast against Satan. You could pick a type of pasta, and there's different types of pasta. You'll be amazed at how many different types of pastas there are. Okay, so there's different types of cheese. You can fast a different type of cheese. There's many different types of cheese you can fast: Parmesan, Romano, cheddar, American cheese. There's different types of. I'm throwing ideas out there, and just rewind this. Some of the ideas one of those ideas you might like, but don't spend an eternity over this decision. Just pick one that you do eat and just go in. You know what I'm saying? Pick one. Start with one. I now have more than one food item against Satan in this fasting vow. So I'm fasting more than one item at this point against Satan specifically. And that's why he can't touch me. I got him. I got to beat. I got to beat. And so this is a strategy that many spiritual warriors have not considered, because their format, I believe this is why it hasn't happened. Because many Christian formats, the formats that they fight spiritual war with is very simple. And it's very it's not based on being a total full-time soldier, spiritual soldier. It's not based on that. It's based on being a half-time soldier and a docile churchgoer. You know what I'm saying? So you don't get when you don't get this kind of information from people that are halfway a spiritual soldier when it's convenient, when they got some real problems, but most of the time they're a docile churchgoer. You know what I'm saying? And no disrespect, but God did not have us to be this way. Okay, so pray about it, and pray about the item, and let the Lord lead you, because this is what's going to make you win. I'm telling you. And we're going to be together fighting our enemy. You know what I'm saying? We have to fight him. If we could all have the body of Christ do this, just imagine how we could defeat him. You telling me God, and besides this fast that I'm talking about, lifelong fast, you don't think God will honor that you a total fast against Satan? Just fasting a couple days every month against Satan. You don't think God will honor that? That's not cartoon. He's real. How's it cartoon when he's real? How's it cartoon when he's attacking you? So you telling me you can't do nothing about the attacks? The Bible shows us you can do something about the attacks. You can do something about the attacks. Go look at what we can do. And the Bible says what? Resist the devil and what? He will flee. Boom, ow. Right? So already right there, it's something you can do. It's something you can do. And he will flee. Okay, so I need to be proactive about what I can do to make him flee. Yeah. And I'm definitely going to be resisting him with a fast. That's what I'm trying to show you. So I recommend doing this. This is taking my life to the next level. Like, it's like the level I'm on now, man. It's hard to describe. It's hard to describe, but in one sentence, but in one word, it's spiritual warfare with me on top. And when I say I'm on top, I mean I'm successful. I'm never losing. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to lose through Christ Jesus. You know, this is how you get the victory. Because at the end of the day, it's him that's fighting you. That's why it just made sense to me. It just made sense to me to fight the boss man, fight the leader, fight the boss. Instead of these little cowards who can't even face you anyway. You know what I'm saying, man? No. Nah, they playing all trickery and all of that. Nah. I'm fighting the boss man, and I'm beating the boss man. That's what I'm doing. So, now, with fasting against these lifelong fasts, let me note to you also that the American Christians will tell you, many of them will tell you, this is not biblical. Okay, well, what we do know is abstaining from food is biblical, right? And what we also know, there is no one size fit all fast for spiritual warfare. Well, the Bible shows us a Daniel fast. A Daniel fast is not the Daniel fast for for seasoned Christians, for young Christians. Go ask your leaders what a Daniel fast is. A Daniel fast is not the fasting that most of the service of God did in the Bible. With the Bible history, they did not do a Daniel like fast, right? But Daniel's fast was honored by God. It was honored by God, right? So that being said, the common denominator with all these fasts that's in the Bible is abstaining from certain food for certain amount of times. That's what is accepted by God. Fasting from certain foods for a certain amount of time. The time isn't even not the same. There's no correct time of length of time to fast to fast. If it was a real ritual, it would be one day. That's all you could do. Or 3 days. You can't. If you don't do 3 days, it's not a real fast. If you don't do a week, it's not a real fast. It's no certain, as you look at the Bible of fastings, there is no certain set time that makes it acceptable. They're all accepted. So why wouldn't God accept a lifelong fast if time is not an issue? If there is no correct amount of time, you think God is going to feel dishonored that you're giving him a fast for all the length of time of your life? That's honorable. That's great. Anybody knows that has a spiritual brain that uses spiritual common sense. That's why I got to do a video about this. Spiritual common sense. And you know, I've already done a video on spiritual innovation. Spiritual innovation concerning spiritual weapons. The weapons are being innovated in the kingdom of God. This is one of them. I am showing you the same weapon you've been using. God has given me revelation, information to innovate this weapon that you've already been using. It's just like a natural military. They're always innovating their weapons. That's what the race is all about. This gives you the upper hand over the enemy. That's a 7 hour. This is going to give you the upper hand over the enemy. You feel me? This is what's going to do it. You gotta understand that the kingdom of God is progressive. This is why many people are being left behind. Okay? Because you're not innovative with your weapons. Go look at my video on spiritual innovation with spiritual weapons. Go look it up. It's probably like I did about a month ago or something like that. Okay? Okay? So now with the lifelong fast, you can do them for every different areas of your life. You can do them for your family, your spouse, your kids. You could do them for, a job, stability at the job that you're at, that you stay at the job. You want to stay at that job, then do a fast. Do a lifelong fast. Okay? If you want to, there's just certain issues and things that's going on with like gang stalkers and false information. Do a lifelong fast against that. You're being targeted by police, do a lifelong fast. You're being targeted by military, lifelong fast. Government, lifelong fast. American community, collectively, lifelong fast. A certain particular community, lifelong fast. And watch what God does. You get victory in ways that is unknown. Okay? It's unknown. There is no reference point. There is nobody out there. I'm way out in the deep. If this was the ocean, I would be down way in the ocean where the anglefish are. Go look up anglefish. Way, way down in the dark parts of the ocean. This is where I'm at. I'm like a spiritual anglefish. This is what's going to give you the answers you need. You need to do a lifelong fast. And listen, you're going to be spiritually accelerating at all times. That's the power behind it. That's what should motivate you. You're going to be spiritually moving literally, even though you can't count it, you can't feel it at all times. You're going to be moving every day. That's the power behind it. You're going to be moving every single day. That should excite you. That should really excite you, because the more time goes by, obviously, you're going to have great adventures. You're going to have more going on. You're going to have all this stuff happening, because your acceleration, the momentum of your acceleration is increasing. The momentum behind your acceleration is increasing. The momentum behind your spiritual acceleration, it's increasing. Do lifelong fasts against witches and warlocks. Do lifelong fasts against voodoo, hoodoo, and Santeria. That's what I'm doing. I got fasts against each one of them. I'm fasting against voodoo. I'm fasting against hoodoo. I'm fasting against Santeria. And I'm fasting against divination worldwide. I'm already on it, man. And besides that, besides fasting against the different denominations of voodoo, I'm fasting also against witches, warlocks, telepaths, and psychics. I got to fast against them too. That's why they can't win. And when you do it, and we join together, and you have lifelong fasts against telepaths, psychics, witches, and warlocks. You're going to see victory you couldn't believe. I'm telling you, you couldn't even believe it. If you heard it, if a preacher told you this was going to happen, you couldn't believe it. They couldn't even believe what's going to happen to you. Okay? You're going to experience amazing victory. But the first one you need to do is to fast against Satan. Okay? There's no one that can tell me that, oh, God would not honor no fast against Satan. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? Think about it. It's just people have been silly, spiritually speaking, when it comes to war and what and who to fight. Why wouldn't God honor a fast against Satan? Think about it. Think about it. Now you're waking up. Why haven't anyone taught you this? You know what they taught you? Fighting against demons and all of that. And they ain't even tell you how to do that right. Because you need to be fighting against the satanic kingdom. You need to fast against the satanic kingdom as a whole, collectively. But you can fight against the main one, the boss man, the Satan himself. You can fight against him in a fast, and I promise you, you think it's a drop in the bucket, but I promise you, God will use you as a weapon against our enemy. He will use you as a weapon against our enemy. Now you see how dangerous that is. That's why nobody never taught you about it. Because that's actually what you need to be doing. I know it sounds like an oxymoron. The reason why you don't know is because that's what you needed to know. That's what you. But you would rarely find someone who even feel they can do something like this because they already feel helpless. But we have weapons. We have tools that are more stronger than the satanic kingdom and Satan himself. Okay? With God giving us the victory, empowering us over him, fighting for us. Foundationally, he's fighting for us. You know how good you would be, you know how effective you would be in defeating Satan in the earth and in our life? There's no one doing it. So now you become more valuable than anyone. Now, I don't need you to be prideful. I'm not saying be prideful, but now you have increased your value beyond humanity. You're almost like an angel. And on this level, you got to be very careful because you're almost angelic. So because you're fighting in a whole different realm. Now you're fighting among fallen angels. Now you're fighting with Gabriel, Michael, and the legions of angels. You're fighting among them in this real war. You went beyond that little stuff that these American Christians call spiritual warfare. Now you're on another level. Now you're like an archangel, basically. Okay? But this is what's going to give you the victory. Okay? See, your enemies are not going to be able to play with you no more. That's why my enemies are suffering. I started my fast October 15th, 2019. And my enemies were still gang stalking. November, December, January, 3 months later, after playing with me, after I started my fast with Satan, COVID-19 was here in America. Listen, God doesn't play no games, man. God does not play no games, bro. Okay? All right? So that's why I when I'm going through, I just know I have to go through it. But this is listen, you're gonna get your value is going to increase so greatly. I guarantee you, no one else is doing this. I guarantee you can't find them. You might find somebody who did go on a fast against Satan. Out of zeal, they may have done it, but not consistently. But then again, you would find somebody like that somewhere. But not usually, probably not a lifelong fast. Probably not. You're going to be one of the only people in the world doing this. But your value is going to increase. And you see where you at? Above the rest of everybody. Which means there's not going to be any playtime when it comes to playing with you. It's not going to be tea time. Teacups are going to be crushed. Tea plates are going to be crushed playing with you, buddy. It ain't going to be tea time. It's going to be tea crushing time. Teacup crushing time. You want to sip tea about me? It's going to be teacup crushing time. That's what time it's going to be. Won't be no tea time, buddy. Teacups will be crushed. Ow. Oh, wow. And now you see why your enemy, our enemy, you see what he's doing? He has no idea. Listen, our enemies have no idea what they're playing with. They have no idea what they're embarking on. So you see what I want to say is, you see what our enemies are playing with? Hey, somebody fasting against Satan. That's beyond international. Yeah. So you know what happens? You and I become a worldwide weapon. With some country wanting to have us as their weapon. We are not selling ourselves, but now you become an international weapon. And now, look, here I am almost 4 years later. So I'm already, in this, man. I've been in this for years. Here I am almost 4 years into fasting against Satan. I will make it all the way, and there will be no one that can stop me.